Hello everyone! Hey, this is Lori Mueller coming to you on Sunday, October 24th for another session of Sunday Stampin' Dreams. I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator located in Lincoln, Nebraska, and I come to you almost every Sunday. And I say almost because last weekend our oldest daughter got married. And so we went away for the wedding. It was sort of a destination wedding. It wasn't in our state, so I'm going to call it a destination wedding. But hello, Linda. Hey, Neoma. Neoma, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. But yeah, it is so good to be back. And I am super excited to share the wedding card that I made for my daughter. Hello, Chris. Hey, Julie. Oh, you guys are so good to join me each Sunday and spend part of your afternoon with me. I am coming back a little, I think I'm catching up on my sleep and on my energy because I have a Stamp Out breast cancer fundraiser retreat this coming weekend. So, hey, Tammy. Hi, Chris. I have got a lot to do, but I am so excited. This will be my 7th year holding this retreat, and we've got a great number of registrants. So if you're local to me or not even local, I've had people travel in from Missouri and from Illinois, Colorado, New Mexico, who have joined me for our 3-day retreat and to help raise funds for this horrible disease, breast cancer. It is very near and dear to my heart because I am a 12-year survivor, and it was the worst year of my life, but I kept my hands in, or kept my life in the hands of God, and He helped me through it, and I'm here today. But also Stampin' Up is what came into my life, or came into my life at that year as well. And without Stampin' Up, and the wonderful products and the different colors and the designer series paper, it helped me stay busy and to keep my mind off of what I was going through and to concentrate on how I can create a beautiful card or project, home decor, whatever. Stampin' Up was my therapy and still is my therapy. Every time I have a hard day or I need some time to myself, I pull out all my stuff and just create away. So if you're looking for something that will help divert your mind from all the bad that might be going on or the frustrations or whatever it may be, you just need some me time or some girl time. I love to get together with my friends as well and stamp, and yeah, I highly recommend it. It is so soothing and therapeutic. So, but I am coming to you for another project that is going to be focusing on the wedding card that I made for my daughter. And it turned out so beautifully. And to come to find out, the color, the primary color that I used in it is actually the groom's favorite color, which I did not know, but he did make a point and was really studying the card. It's like, whoa, I love green, you know, and so it just made the whole occasion wonderful that everything turned out well. The weather was perfect. It wasn't too cold. It was in the mid-60s. The wind was subdued, but the area that they got married in was surrounded by redwoods. And these things are huge. I've never seen one before in real life. I've only seen pictures, but it helped reduce the wind tunneling through or even having any effect on what we were doing, photographs and the dress and all that good stuff. So it was a beautiful day, one that I'm going to cherish forever, and I cannot wait to see the pictures. We got some snapshots on our cell phone, but you know, they're always you know, second best to what the photographer and the videographer are going to be putting together for us. So On that note, I hope everyone's doing well. Hi, Patricia. So good to see you. I think I am ready to start stamping. So if you're ready, let's turn this around and let's get started. All right, so I'm gonna, there we go. And let's do a little bit of adjustment there. Okay, so today's card is featuring on, oh, thank you, Julie. Yeah, it was a beautiful day. Thank you for the compliment on the beauty of my daughter and of myself and everybody else that was there. I appreciate that. So we are going to focus on Forever Fern. It's a beautiful set that is artistically designed. It's a red rubber, and it's artistically designed to give you different highlights and emphasis in shadowing and darker shades of each one of these figs. And then the sentiments are beautiful as well. You can use this for wedding or general occasions, or even an encouragement card. But of course, I chose this set for the Love and Laughter Forever After. And these are all of the dies. Now, some of these right here do coordinate with the images that you see in the stamp set, but then there's a bunch of extras that you can die cut with cardstock or vellum or glimmer paper and use them as accents on your creation. So we're going to focus on this, and then I am bringing in the really, I struggled with this 3D embossing folder when it came out in the catalog. It's the Macrame 3D embossing folder, and truthfully, it was not appealing to me at all until I started seeing examples that are on people's blogs or Pinterest or whatever, and now I am hooked. And that wasn't meant to be a pun, being macrame, but it's beautiful, and this one will definitely give you two different effects for the impression that you're going to get after running it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So if you were not sold on this, I'm hoping after today's card that you will be. So it is really, really pretty, and you are going to be pleasantly surprised. So today's card, which I don't have a sample of because my daughter has it, so you'll just have to trust me as we go through this whole adventure together. But these are the measurements for the cardstock, and then I've listed the tools, the accessories. So if you wanted to take a screenshot of that, I'll hang on here for a moment. And then we have the ink. I used Versamark and the Evening Evergreen. And then the designer series paper is the Expressions in Ink, and with the measurement of 3 3/4 by 2 1/2. So those are the ingredients for our card. And I'm going to share with you the Expressions in Ink designer series paper. There are 3 sheets that have this type of pattern on it. It's white on the top and bottom, and then it has this alcohol effect through the center. Now this one though is a little bit different, where you have more of the white streaks that go in and make it into a third, and then this one right here as well. And this is the one that I focused on because all of the other sides, and then this one doesn't have any gold foil at all, but it's the reverse. So if you had a need for something without the gold, but I went with this one because it did have a little bit of gold in it, and I love the watercolor effect, and I did not want large floral patterns to steal away from my focal point. And so what I had done is cut this to a measurement that was so, a certain width that would run through my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. But you can still use the outer portions, for the reverse side if you wanted. But this is where my focal point is going to come, is with the shades of green that are in this particular pattern of from the Expressions in Ink Designer Series paper. Then, of course, I brought in some of our lovely Cork paper. Oh my gosh, I just love this paper. It feels a little leathery, but yet it feels like cork. It literally feels just like cork. So if you haven't gotten any of that, you're going to want some. So how I cut my Designer Series paper was this direction, because I had a piece in here that measures 3 3/4 inches wide. And so this was the part that I wanted to focus on, was in this area right here. So that's how I'm coming up with our designer paper featured. Okay, so to start, we have our basic white thick cardstock, and I've already scored it at the 5.5 mark. So I'm going to bring in the bone folder, give that a nice burnish. So we can set this part aside. And I think it's time that I'm going to emboss this layer, because it's going to actually cover the entire front of our card base. I didn't give it any border of any sort at first. At first I did. So this is what the embossing folder features. And I had gone with a piece that had just a small, and I was thinking of using a different color or some pattern of some sort, but I voted against it. So we are going to bring in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And for our sandwich, we only need the main base, the number 1. And I'm going to put the entire piece of basic white in the folder, just like that. And you want to make certain that you have it pretty straight. There's a nice line that Stampin' Up! Has added to their folders to help guide you, because of the geometric shapes. You do want to make certain that you have this going in a straight pattern. And then I'm going to throw in our number 4, the impressions plate, and run this through. All right, so run that. And this runs through so smoothly. All right. So I set that aside. And I'll show you. So this is what one side of the texture folder. So everything is raised on this side, but if I flip it, you're going to see where it looks like it's de-embossed. But it's these portions that are raised. The rest of the macrame look is kind of setting in gully type. But you have 2 different looks, and I love this one. Right now for this card, we're going to use this side. All right, but next up, while I have my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine out, we're going to pull out our stitched rectangles. And the ones that I used are the second one in and the 4th one in to make my frame. And then the next one in is going to be on the Designer Series paper. So I need to bring back my sandwich of the 2 and 3. And I like to use washi tape to hold my stitched rectangles, because we're going to create a frame. And we're going to make a frame out of the cork paper. And when I first cut this cork paper, I wanted to make certain I could get at least 4 strips of this out of the 12 by 12. And I won't need to worry about the outer edge. All right, so I'm going to put that in there, and I'm going to press on my washi tape just a little bit. But we are going to get basically two things out of here. One, I want to get this border as a frame, because I'm going to use it as a frame, and then this is going to be an extra piece that you can use for a project later on. Oh, and one other tip. Let's set this at an angle so that we are avoiding the straight on speed bump that this straight edge creates. So if we go in at an angle like that, then it eliminates that tension of a major speed bump. All right, so I'm going to run this through. Okay. And carefully pick it up, because this cork is a little bit more delicate than our designer series paper. So you have that piece that I can put aside, and then I'm going to carefully undo the washi tape like that, and now we have our beautiful frame. And then this piece is a result of creating a frame which can be used on any future project that you have. So I use washi tape to hold my frames together. So we're going to set this aside along with our embossed layer. And next up, I need to cut a piece of the designer series paper. And that'll be basically our center focal background. All right. Do I have you all curious yet on what this card looks like? I do have pictures, but I haven't uploaded them to my blog yet. So we're going to use this piece and use it in the center of our focal point. So for now, oh, and then I do need some vellum die cuts. So I've got my sheet of vellum, and we are going to use this image right here. I don't know what you call it. It's kind of leafy, flowery, but there are other attributes that you can use. And I'm going to need 2 of these. So let's go ahead and position that in there. And run that through. So we'll need 2 of these. Oh my gosh, I hope, I'm not certain where everyone's from. If you've mentioned, some of you I know where you live, but the rain, we have had nonstop rain since about midnight last night. And it's been, we've got a weather warning that there's some flooding occurring in our town. And I noticed one of our clocks in one of our rooms must have been interrupted with electricity because it was flashing. So I'm hoping that the rain will start dying down here pretty soon, because our water pump has been going hot and heavy since the flooding has been announced. So I don't know if anybody else is getting rain. I know we need rain desperately, but I don't know. It's getting to be a little much. It's not soaking it in near as quickly. All right, so I also need some Whisper White, or Basic White. I still can't get over the old name yet. And I'm going to die cut 3 of these little, and I love it that Stampin' Up! Has included 3 of these, because I can die cut them all at one time. All right, so put that away, and we'll run this through, and then that'll be the end of all of our die cutting. There we go. Oh, look how easily that came off. And there go. Now to pop them off. There we go. All right, now to put those down so I don't lose them. Sorry. Okay. Let's see, did we move our... I think we did a little bit. All right. Now we can go ahead and add our macrame embossed layer. And I'm using liquid glue because I don't want to de-emboss using Stampin' Seal. All right, so I'm gonna lay this and square it up on all edges because I said we are going to cover the whole front of this layer. Just like that. So pretty. Oh, I love, love, love. All right, next up is to add our frame. So we're going to put our cork frame, and then we're going to do this piece as well. So that's where we're going with that. So I need to bring in some of our dimensionals. And let's see if I brought in enough. I think I'm going to have to cut these in half because my frame is not wide enough to accommodate this large size. So I'm going to use the corners. I'm going to use these corners to help support the corners. Here, I'll just set that aside that way. And oops. So you have to tell me, since you don't know what the original card looks like, you know, and usually I always have my sample to show to you. Are you liking this surprise or not? Are you, this is kind of like a mystery stamping day if you know, kind of look at it that way. But you'll have to let me know if this is, you know, kind of getting you antsy. All right, so, and because this paper is much more delicate, I am layering more dimensionals on here than I normally would. Although, you know me, I like lots of dimension and support for any of my projects. So I think I need to, yeah, I'm gonna go slower or closer on these because there we go, like that. And I probably should have put an extra one right in here. I can do that. There we go. All right, now we can do this one with some of our regular sized because it's going in the center of that cork frame. There we go. And we'll just do this, get rid of some of these little side kick. Oh, let's do this one the same. There we go. And then put one in the center. Oops. All right, well, put you there. And one here. And why not there? Okay, I think we're done. All right, so the first thing I want to do is to peel all these away. And oh, Diana, yeah. I didn't get my graphic made for my Sunday Stampin' Dreams because I usually put it in there what I'm using. If I'm, you know, doing a fancy fold or a treat package, and then I usually use a keyword from either the bundle or the stamp set that I'm using for each Sunday project. So yeah, I didn't even get that far. It's been, oh my gosh, today was just not my day. outside of the flooding that's going around, my pantry decided to collapse. One of my sliding shelves decided to collapse inside the cupboard, and yeah, so I was busy unpacking that to try and get it, less pressured, because it was breaking my clips on on the other shelves. So in order to avoid the cascade of collapse, this one's gonna, there we go. So I'm trying to, maybe I should go this direction, trying to get this nice and centered. And I think, so it is, when you have a narrow strip like this, it does make it a little more delicate. Okay, there we go. So that's all centered. And then we'll peel all of these away. I feel like when I'm not on camera, I can peel these so much faster. or maybe that's just me, but okay. Now to do this, or I think I like this way better. And the gold, I thought, in this paper really accentuated the cork. See how beautiful that's coming together? Ooh, love, love, love. Okay, so next up is to add our little vellum pieces. And all I did was, now I could use, you know what, I'm going to use glue dots this time, because I did use liquid glue when I created the original, but I think with the help of these glue dots, it'll help with the next step that I'm going to do. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to add a couple of them in here, because this part is going to get covered with the sentiment layer. All right, and kind of like that. Let's move that up just a smidgen. There. Okay. All right. Are you seeing it come together a little bit? Fun, fun, fun. All right, next up, I have some of our beautiful, soft, succulent open weave ribbon that I am actually going to cut down the middle and create a different kind of texture with this ribbon. It has, a fine sheer center that makes the overall card look a little more soft, like that. So I'm just going to cut it like that. See how it has these little frillies right there? So we're going to do this number, and let's see, kind of, let's see, I must have crisscrossed it like this. Oh yeah. And then again, see, that glue dot helped me this time, whereas before when I made this, it didn't, I didn't think of that. So when you make these the second time, you kind of come up with these little ideas of, ooh, I should have done it this way. All right, and then I'm going to run it across like that. Okay, now we are at our sentiment time, so we can set that aside. And I have a piece of, let's see, yeah, soft seafoam and the sentiment that we're using, Love and Laughter. Now I did some embossing. So I have Versamark, and then we're going to use the Evening Evergreen, and I have my clear embossing powder. Now what I like to do to make certain that, because this ink dries really fast, and if you're not swift enough, you can ink from your ink pad and have the embossing powder stick. But I like to do this little trick of adding my Versamark to the image like that, because the Versamark will stay wet longer. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to give it a couple taps with Evening Evergreen. And I want to make certain I get my whole, there we go. And I'm centering it on the bottom edge of the soft seafoam, because I'm going to trim it down so that it's right on the edge. All right, and we're going to cover this and be liberal with it. Don't be shy. So that way it's all nice and covered. Maybe add a little bit more right there. All right, so I'm going to set that aside, close up my inks, and then we will warm up the heat tool and melt this. And I just, oh, this sentiment was so perfect. Love and laughter forever and after, because they are, I mean, so in love, and they are each other's true soulmate. And now we can watch the magic appear. See how it's getting darker? That. Yay! And then I like to add a little bit of boost of heat on the back side, because if you left your heat on the image for too long, the cardstock will actually soak in the embossing powder. And when you hit it from the heat behind, it'll actually raise it back up out of there. It's so cool. So if you see that your embossing has kind of disappeared, try adding a little heat to the back, and then you'll watch it reappear. So that's super fun to watch, and it was a little tip by accident that I came across. All right, now what we want to do is bring in our trimmer, and I'm going to trim this down all the way to the edge of the sentiment, because I want to, there we go, I'm going to get it right down, and I'm looking at my little trail. There we go. Oh, and I want, that's my emboss, or my score line, so I'm going to score this off just like that. There we go. And now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I want to get the track, and let's see if I've, oop, there we go. And just like that. So that way I have a nice tight sentiment within a range of cardstock that, you know, you could eyeball it, but this was so much easier. You know, because you could have a strip that is 3/4 or an inch or whatever and try and line it up in there, but if it, you know, misses, then you have to flip it over and start over. This way I could just trim it down to what I wanted for that particular size. All right, so I'm seeing this one, I'm going to have to add another glue dot in there to help that ribbon stay in place, which is no big deal. So we'll add a glue dot. Oops. Maybe I better add a couple more. There we go. Oh, do I feel one on? I feel one somewhere. Maybe not. And okay. These glue dots are really strong. There we go. I think I got it. Now like that. There we go. Perfect. And then our sentiment is going to go over top of that. Now I do want to, I think I'm going to trim on this side just a smidgen. Like that. Yeah, that looks centered. Okay. So we're going to add this with dimensionals. And how I worked this out is I want to avoid adding dimensionals to this part because it's not going to hang over far enough. I'm going to actually raise it up on the Cork and the Designer Series paper layer. So I'm going to bring in, there we go, so now I can add some biggies in here. And then again, add, let's try that. Now I think I want to add where these big ones are at to give them some support right there. Oh, what the heck, we'll do one there too. Okay, so yeah, I like lots of support. And okay, oh my gosh, we're getting another burst of rain. It's just pouring down. I'm watching the neighbor's gutters. She hasn't cleaned the leaves out of them, so the water is running over the edge of her gutter too. Okay, so we'll put that right here in the center. Just like that. All right, last, oh, I did forget one piece. Oh, shoot, shoot, shoot. Let's see if I can pick this up. Oh, there we go. Ah, this vellum is really sticking. Oh my goodness, I can't, well, when I don't have my sample here, I can tell that all right, so I'm gonna just lift that up because I added some of this gold piece. I just kind of did a number like that. And I threw it in. I think I'm gonna add a glue dot in here. Yep. So that'll help me hold it together. And that went in just like that. And then the dimensionals will do the rest for me. There we go. Throw that like that. Ooh, okay. That was a quick save. I'm going to cut this little tail a little bit. Last is to add these little pieces. And I did use some liquid glue on the tips and kind of tuck them in. Like it'll actually get stuck to the back of the sentiment. And we'll put this one over in here. Like that. And a third one somewhere over here behind that gold piece. There we go. Like that. And last but not least, we got to add a little bit of bling, even though we got the gold, but we're going to use our in color jewels. And I focused on the soft succulent color. And, oh no, I did use some of the evening evergreen. I think I did a little bit of each. And we'll put that one up there. And then Oh, that one. I think I did do all evening evergreen. And is my sentiment crooked? It does look a little crooked. Let's try this again. There we go. Boy, a lot of gluing down and taking apart today. Let's see, let's put one in there. And another small one, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll put the other one right there. And that, my friends, is my card that I had made for my daughter and her new husband. So, what do you think? Not too bad, huh? Kind of cute. And my little piece is wanting to come on out of there. So, tuck that back in there, just like that. And I just love, how the softness of the vellum kind of tones down the wood, but also then you have your gold that actually complements the cork. And then we have our sentiment that has a little bit of shimmer in it due to the embossing that actually kind of highlights the gold layer as well. So, but that is my card that I created for her. So I can bring it up closer if that helps. Thank you so much, Judy, for your compliment. Oh, you ladies, all my friends, you are just wonderful. All right, so let's flip back around and have a look at you one last time before I take off. But I do want to mention that if you need any of these supplies, use the host code that I have on my workstation, and I will send you a kit of cards. There'll be 4 of them, 2 each of 2 designs using the Forever Fern stamp set and dies. So if you don't have that set, you might want to purchase that one because it'll focus around that one. And then that macrame 3D embossing folder, like I said, it was not anything that I was interested in at all when I first saw it in the catalog, but I'm really loving it now. So I want to also indicate I won't be here next Sunday because that is my breast cancer fundraiser retreat. It's a 3-day retreat, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I'll be with 35 other ladies that are going to be scrapbooking, card making. I've even had some painters and macrame. I did have one little gal that was doing macrame for her projects that she brought. So, but on that note, thank you so much for joining me on your Sunday afternoon. And if you have any questions, please post them here. I will be uploading this video to YouTube. It'll save to YouTube and to my Facebook business page. So until then, have a great rest of your Sunday and a wonderful week coming up, and I'll visit with you later. Thanks, everyone. Bye.